412 ships, 60,000 crew members, the largest coalition fleet ever assembled, sitting completely dead in space. Every engineer they had sent had failed, every expert had gone home. Then someone matched the error signature to an obscure piece of Earth software from 1994 and needed whoever understood it. That turned out to be me. I teach sophomore PE. I have a whistle, a clipboard, and a C- college paper that apparently just became the most important document in the galaxy. It started with a knock on my classroom door during third period dodgeball. Two figures in suits I didn't recognize, one human, one very much not. They showed me credentials I didn't understand. They said a coalition fleet was stranded and my name had come up in a search, that a computer science elective I took in 1994 and never stopped mentioning at faculty meetings was apparently the key to saving 60,000 lives. I told them my sub was unreliable. The non-human ones said they understood and were very sorry for the inconvenience. I grabbed my coffee and my whistle out of habit. I'm still not entirely sure why I brought the whistle. They transported me onto the coalition flagship. I want to be clear that I handled that with complete dignity. I only sat down on the floor for about 2 minutes to collect myself, which I maintain was a reasonable response to being instantaneously moved across the solar system. When I stood up, the engineering bay was in front of me, a room the size of a stadium, 17 exhausted alien engineers around a diagnostic display, and an error readout I recognized before I even got close. My stomach dropped, not because I didn't know what I was looking at, because I did. It was the exact failure mode from my college paper, the one Professor Haverson had called theoretically interesting but practically irrelevant. I thought about Professor Haverson for a The problem was a priority inversion. The navigation system was waiting on itself to complete before it could start, which meant it would never start. I had a way to explain this. If everyone in dodgeball waits for someone else to pick up the ball first, nobody moves and the game never starts. You have to break the loop from outside. The lead engineer stared at me after that explanation for what felt like a full minute. Then he said very quietly, "Please just fix it." I said I was working on it. I just needed to find where the loop originated. That was the part I wasn't certain about. I chose not to mention that part. 3 hours and I hadn't found it. By hour 4, I was doubting myself the way I hadn't since my first year teaching, standing in front of 30 kids who could sense immediately that you weren't sure what you were doing. Around hour 4 and a half, one of the engineers said something hot beside me. It tasted like burnt copper and 3 days without sleep. I drank all of it. 18 minutes later, I found the line. One instruction in a sequence of millions placed in the wrong order, causing everything behind it to freeze, waiting for something that was never going to arrive. I fixed it carefully. Then all at once. Then I hit execute and I sat back and I did not say anything because I had no idea if it was going to work. 412 ships came back online simultaneously. Every screen in the bay went from red to green in the same instant, and every alien in the room made a sound I had never heard before, something between relief and disbelief. And the lead engineer crossed the room and took both my hands in two of his four and shook them for a long time without saying a single word. 60,000 people across that fleet had no idea a PE teacher from Ohio had just fixed their navigation system. I thought briefly about whether I should tell someone. Then I thought about how that conversation would go. I decided not to. They offered me a permanent consulting position, good pay, meaningful work. I told them I was honored, but I had a badminton unit starting Monday and my sub had already canceled on me twice this semester. The lead engineer said in 30 years of service he had never been turned down before. I said I believed him. He gave me a commendation towel the size of a dinner plate and sent me home. I put it on my desk between the stapler and the Employee of the Month plaque. One of my students noticed it the next morning and asked where I got it. I said I fixed a computer for some people. She asked if it was a big computer. I said yeah, pretty big.